Hey, 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 love and light to each and every one of you guys. Welcome to the Dope Black Chick Podcast, your audio guide to releasing your dopeness.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Dope Black Chick Podcast. And I am your host, Isis. Of course, y'all know I am the nicest. And I have a special guest on this episode with us tonight. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. We are going to be discussing an issue that a lot of people over 30 are having, obviously. But I have a special guest. I got one of my friends that will be joining the conversation. We talked about it thoroughly last night, I believe it was. And, you know, it was hitting so well, I decided to say, okay, you know, here's your shot at stardom on the Dope Black Chick Podcast. And I decided to bring in this fellow podcaster, the host of Culture and Conversations podcast. It is Mr. Jamison Smallwood. Hey. Oh my God.
Hey, everybody. How are y'all doing? Yes, I am Jamison Smallwood, the host of the Culture and Conversations podcast, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Isis, for having me on your platform to meet your wonderful audience.
I can't stand you. Like, who brings a backup team with them, you know, with their own sound effects with them to the show? But
look.
Thank you. Okay, so let's get into this, y'all. So your girl is approaching the big 4-0. And I've been talking about this on the show, and you know, I don't really feel bad about it. Actually, I'm really excited about 40. And I'll tell you why after we get into the gist of this conversation. But anyway, so the other night I posted on my Facebook timeline about, you know, dating over 30. Like, what are some of the issues that you have? Because it's like a weird time. So prior to my 30s, let me just put this out here. Prior to my 30s, dating was super easy. Like, I didn't even think about dating. I didn't think about finding the right person. I didn't, you know, none of that was a concern for me. It came very easily. Men were like a dime a dozen. And of course, I made a lot of stupid choices during that time period. Now, as I am approaching 40, the tide has changed tremendously, and just trying to get a date is hard as hell. Okay. I want to talk about that. We're discussing dating over 30 and all of the challenges that come with that. So, Jamison, I want to start this first question with you, and then we're going to talk about some of the responses we got. Okay.
Okay.
So, first off, just give everybody a quick synopsis of what is like one of your major struggles you've had in dating.
So I think, Isis, that's a great question to start this conversation with, because before you can date somebody, you got to meet somebody, right? And I think for me, that's always been the thing. How do I meet people? When I was in college, I didn't really take advantage of the fertile dating grounds at college.
Hey, the fertile?
There are women everywhere. And, I went to Georgia Southern University, and so shout out to them GSU shorts. For folks who went to Southern, we know what that's about.
Okay.
You got GSU across the ass, and they were just walking around everywhere.
You know what? Those are just called collegiate shorts, because every school got those.
Okay, we call them GSU shorts, and but you know, you see all these beautiful women. All of them chasing after the same thing, a college degree, right? Like, you know, trying to get themselves.
Oh, can I just add this real quick? Because about the shorts, now you got me on this. But
okay.
We had the shorts, and our shorts, you know, because I went to USC, right?
Okay.
So our shorts had USC on the back, but everybody used to say UCS. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes. That's why. That's one of the reasons I knew I was in the right place at Southern, because one of the first people I got directions from when I was up there for an interview for a scholarship, she had on some GSU shorts. I said, Dad, this is the place for me. You know, y'all don't worry about me. I'm gonna be all right. You know. But you know, I didn't take advantage of that, of meeting people there, right? And I just kind of took for granted that you would always meet people, because when you're going through school, you people are always coming in and out of that kind of environment. So I think for me, when I got into my 20s, I still knew a lot of people from my days in school who were single. But then as I got older, going into my 30s, everybody in my social circle began to get married, began to build families. Right. So it got harder to meet people who were single or connect with people who were single in your social circle. So then the question becomes, how do you go about finding new people to date and getting to know people? Mm-hmm. And that has proven to be a challenge.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm glad you started with that, because that was one of my things, is like, I thought men had it easy because of the quantity that you guys have. Meeting people is very difficult for women. I work from home, so I'm definitely not out in the streets anymore. I don't see people as often. Well, I am in the streets, but not in the streets. So it's like, if I'm at an event, I'm at an event to work. And as I've talked about on this show before, most of the people in the media industry are not always straight. So most of the time I go to the event, it's like they are not looking for me. Okay. So I have to deal with that. Okay. And that's one of the reasons I don't go to as many of those as I used to. I just send correspondence now, because I'm like, ain't nothing there for me. They definitely ain't checking. So, but anyway, yeah. So it's like the number of guys that are going to be in the places that I'm at is just not there. And then also I don't work at, a traditional job. So I'm like, I work from home. I ain't seeing nobody. And then it's like, so you feel like the quantity is a problem for women, period. And so I've always kind of thought like, okay, men have that ability because they have so many women to choose from. So to hear from not just you, but other guys, that the quantity is still an issue, not necessarily that there aren't as many women, but more like the quality of woman, is an issue. That's surprising.
Well, I think it's a lot of filters there on top of our dating life that we have to be honest about. The first thing is, like you said, what's the sexuality? We're in the Atlanta metro area, so we know the culture around sexuality in our city. And nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is we have to factor that in. So now you're in an area where, hey, are you straight? Are you, what's your preference? On top of that, you've got things like, okay, educational background now, because we typically want somebody who has a similar educational background, although some people will be flexible with that. There's income, professional. Are you a professional person? If you have a particular walk of faith or your spiritual life, hey, do you have something in common with me in that area? Do you have children? Because especially as you get older, dating people with children becomes a real reality.
Listen, let me talk about that, because your girl is struggling. I had to have a come to me Jesus moment, because like I really don't want to date. I don't like kids, y'all. Y'all know that. This ain't nothing new.
You hate children, Isis. You hate children.
I don't hate them. I just don't like them. Okay, there's a difference. I wish them the best, but I don't want them around me. And so I struggle with that, and especially as you get older, people are gonna have kids, and if they don't have kids, they want some kids. So that having that filter on there it makes it even harder for me. If it was hard before, it's like 1,000 times harder now when I'm trying to date someone and then I find out, oh, you got how many kids? Oh, Jesus, Lord. No, like I met this one guy, he had 6. I was like, bye, sir. Goodbye. I couldn't do that. Wow. Okay, nothing against that guy, but to me, that's questionable. I'm like,
he's got a basketball team there. So.
Yeah, I'm just like, sir, when did you not understand that you had a problem? When did you not understand that, you need to wrap it up maybe 3 times? Like, what is the, one child is like, oh, I can get that. But when you start having 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, sir, did you ever think maybe I need to check my choices at the door or something? You know what I'm saying? It's like, Weird. Yeah, it's like, I know that people are going to have kids now, but it's like instead of I don't want you to have any kids, at least now the filter is if you got kids, they grown already and they out the house, or one, not an infant, stuff like that. Those are my filters now, because I can't have the filter of no, I don't want you to have kids, because you meet people and you meet someone and they're really dope and they have this child, and now I don't have the luxury of saying, oh, well, bump you. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're feeling them. It's like, well, I guess I could sacrifice that and child, hope that I never have to see it. Look for deadbeats. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking for a deadbeat dad out here. You know what I'm saying? Don't be around your kid. That's what I need. But no, I'm just playing. Wow. I'm playing, but I'm serious at the same time.
I thought I heard that right the first time, but I wasn't sure. I was like, did she say she out here looking for deadbeats? Shout out to deadbeat dads out here in the streets.
Yeah, because they're free. Like they can be spontaneous. They can go whenever they want to. Shout out to them.
They're free and fertile. Remember that. They're free and fertile. Now? They're free and fertile. Remember that. They're free and fertile.
This is true. I mean, I'm joking, but what I'm saying is that, like you said about having the filters, it does change the game for us. And as we get older, those filters, when you're young, those filters are great. They kind of weed out things. But as you get older, those filters will keep you single as AF. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, next question.
Sure.
So I want to go through some of the responses we got last night.
Okay.
So here's one that is interesting because it was both women, and they're on two different sides of the spectrum. Right. Okay. So one of the responses was, men are not ready to settle down. They still want to sow their wild oats, right? So I come back off of this and I was like, oh, well, my issue is they want to move too fast. They want to get married. Like, I've found that men over, I'm not going to say 30, but definitely men over 35, they want to get married. They are not playing games out here. They are trying to wife you up.
Yeah. I think. Let me respond to that person's post. I think you're absolutely right, Isis. When you meet somebody as a man and you're in your mid 30s, men, we think in terms of progression. So I know when I think about my life, for instance, I thought about, okay, I got the first job, then I got the next job, then I got quote unquote the big job, right? And then once you go through some of these checkpoints in life, you begin to say, hey, I want to do the same thing in my life where I think I'm ready to take on a woman and marry her. Because, we all date and have had girlfriends and stuff and been in relationships. But then you get to a certain point in life, you say, I got all my quote unquote shit together. Let me now take on a wife and see what that life is about. So men do think in terms of progression. However, men who don't think in terms of progression and who don't have their stuff together, they typically are out here just smashing chicks randomly. So there's a guy who's looking at you like, damn, she's fine, so let me get at her. And all he wants is sex. And then that's when you get a woman like that who posted that, who says that they want to sow their wild oats because she met one of those brothers who hasn't gotten his stuff together and he's just out here having sex because he can casually get by with that.
Okay, so as a man, tell my female listeners, because they really want to know, what are the telltale signs of that brother? So they can avoid him. Okay, so I'm out here speaking to the ladies. First off, let me say hello, ladies. How are y'all doing? My name is Jamison, and oh my God, Jamison.
From a male perspective, how to avoid these type of men. I think one of the things you got to look for is how available is he? Is he actually calling you, or is he just texting you a bunch? That's the first sign. Men who are serious and who are trying to engage a woman and lock her down and think about marrying her, he's going to be available. What is it that he seems to be focused in on time he meets you? Is he overly sexual when he meets you, or is he just, is he sprinkling it in to letting you know that, hey, I see you as a complete person and not just just a conquest in the bedroom? Also, does he have some degree of accomplishment in his life? and then ask him, why is he building? Don't ask him what he's building. Y'all spend so much time asking what you're building that you don't end up asking him, why is he building?
Okay.
Why is he building the life that he's building, right? Is he building that life because he is trying to just make as much money as he can so he can drive whatever car he wants, or, enjoy the material side of it? Or is he building life because he's waiting on Eve to bring the appear in his garden? Is that why he's building the life that he's building? So you got to ask that why question. Why are you building? Not just what you're building, but why are you building?
I hear you with your tweetable moments. I hear you. Okay, so let's see. Then you did allude to the sexual innuendo that comes with some of these people, these suitors. And I think that's a perfect segue into another one of the posts, which was the comment was about dick pics. Okay. And, for whatever reason, I don't know why men think we want a dick pic.
That's easy, Isis.
We don't want a dick pic.
No. You don't want a dick pic, but it's worked in the past. That's why they send dick pics.
Oh my God.
Nobody.
That is the most, at this age, that is the worst thing you can do, fellas, is send us a dick pic. I commented on the lady. She said that she got dick pics. And I was like, yeah, like that's the worst thing. Like I'm praying. I had a guy send me a picture the other day, and for whatever reason, it was coming in really slow. So my phone was just saying like downloading. And here I am the whole time like, please don't be a dick pic. Please don't be a dick pic. Like the whole time. And it wasn't. So I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? But I was scared to death because I was like, he's cool, but what if this is a dick pic? Like, I'm going to just have to cut him off. Nobody has time for the dick pics. Like, guys, stop with the dick pics.
I mean, once again, for your lady listeners, men are trained by what women have in the past responded to.
Training them? No. Okay. I'm gonna go with you on that. You said what women have allowed, but this isn't. What guy was the first guy that said, you know what? I'm gonna send her a picture of my dick. Like what ignorant guy decided that this would be great?
Don't get me wrong, perverts don't need much reason to be perverts. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, at some point in time, every guy has tried something to get a woman. And what happens is, if you're the guy who sends off a picture of your cock and a woman responds like, ooh, and she plays the game with you at that point, you're going to do that from now on because you think that that's how, it's going to go every time. So,
and not only do you continue to do it, but you spread that ignorance to your friends.
Exactly, man. What you need to do, dog, is you need to send her a picture of your dick. That's what you need to do. Stop this bullshit that you got going on and send her a picture of your dick up here texting, send her a picture of that cock. Dude, and then that's how dudes talk to each other. Like, man, I don't know what to do, man. Send her a picture of your dick. That's what worked for me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really simple. We are trained based on past success and past failure. So if you find a man who's sending out them kind of pictures, ladies, that's because it's probably worked for him in the past. So and let me say this: I'm woke on this. I'm not blaming women for this. I'm just saying that it's a simple thing. Men still need to not do it, but we're creatures of habit. That's why we catcall. That's why we do all the stuff that we do that you guys find annoying.
So, wait. So you're trying to say that it's us that allows y'all to do it?
No.
So why aren't other men saying, no, bruh, don't do that?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, we probably need to have a better policing of our community around that.
I don't feel like men police each other enough. It's like we have 1,000 different events and podcasts and all kinds of outlets where we're saying, look, sis, don't do this, or be the best woman you can be. And guys are just like, you got a friend that do some wild stuff, and you just be like, hey, this is crazy, man. Y'all say nothing to him. You don't correct his behavior. You just let him continue to be out here foolish and reckless.
That's male ego. The male ego won't let that happen. You can't. If you correct another man, that's automatically seen as a sign of aggression by less evolved men. So we don't go around correcting each other because that's like fighting words. Like, you telling me what to do, bro? And now the ego takes over. So now you got to deal with the fact that you bruised his ego, let alone you're trying to tell him, hey, man, stop sending out pictures of your dick. Yeah, yeah. And so dudes, we just don't want to be bothered with that. So that's it.
Okay. So I'm just gonna let that one go. Okay, so another comment was that women said, well, we've done that one. Okay, here's one. The Netflix and chill situation.
Okay.
Ladies are like, guys do not want to create great, beautiful, memorable dates anymore. Guys are like, they're not putting in that effort to do it. They are just like Netflix and chill. Like, you want to come through, you want to hang out. Like, that's their thing now. And I'm going to go ahead and lean with you on this is what is allowed. So as long as it's allowed, they will continue to be like, oh, she cool with coming over and watching Netflix. So why should I do X, Y, and Z for her when she's coming over anyway? And it's not such a big deal. But what is the problem with this new group of men? And I'm saying new group because I'm approaching 40 and I've never dealt with this whole Netflix and chill situation until recently. So what is going on?
It goes back to a couple of different things. First off, it starts with men believing this notion about gold digging that doesn't really exist. Don't get me wrong, there are women out there who would date you just for the experience of the things that you can do and the fun that you can have and not really be sincere about you. I've got stories, but we'll spare your listeners of that.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that men generally have those type of men generally have this belief that women are using them in some capacity. So they try to, come up with these like, hey, let's go get coffee dates and hey, let's go walk in the park dates. And,
walk in the park is cool though. That's the point.
Stop. That's it.
That is like, especially if I feel like you should have lead-in dates.
No, you need to have.
I don't want a full-fledged date with somebody I don't know. Like when I'm getting to know you, I think I want a lead-in date. It needs to be something where I just don't want it extravagant because this could definitely go left. And I don't want that, not on a first date. Now,
so I got some examples of dates like that, right? That you're talking about there aren't. I like what you said there. They're not extravagant. I don't think you have to have a first date that's extravagant, but you can still have a great first date. So, for instance, when you were on my show, Culture and Conversations podcast, we were talking about, hey, let's go go painting. Let's go to your sips and strokes. Let's go to one of those wine and paint classes, right? Let me get a cheese tray. Let me get some cold cuts, or not cold cuts, but like deli cuts, like your salami and dried cheeses and all that stuff, right? Let me bring some wine. Let's sit down and paint. Now you got something to remember from the evening when you first met me. I got something to remember from the evening when I first met you. It's not, it's
that's
not
cool, but I don't know if I would do that for like a let me get to know you date. To me, because see, what if I don't like you? I don't want to sit there and paint with your ass all night. I'm up and out.
Okay.
See, now that's a date too. That's a date. That's like, okay, we met. He cool. So now I really want to get to know him because that first date, I'm trying to feel you out and see if you even somebody I want to be around or have in my space. So that second date is really the legit first date to me. Now that's just me speaking, but the second date is always the legit first date. The first date is just like, let me check this nigga out, because people can be whatever they want to be via text and on the phone, but when you're with them, you get that feel. And then if I really enjoyed that, because I usually always on the first day I have a time that I'm out. Like I don't even allot myself to just let's free willy and do whatever. I have like that time. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be there for maybe an hour and a half, and then I'm out. And I think within that time I can gather enough information to the point where I can decide, oh, this person is worth pursuing a little bit more, because you gotta understand at that point on the first meeting, you're not worth my time yet.
But see, I'm giving you some alternatives to that Netflix.
I just don't want to sit in. Yeah, you're right with the Netflix and chill, but niggas are giving out the Netflix and chill as the meetup. Like that's their initial meet is Netflix and chill.
So coming back from that, maybe not giving exact examples of dates because we may not agree about that. They're going back to why the people are doing it. It goes back to another thing. Men, we like as little challenge as possible because we're goal oriented. Mm-hmm. We're trying to get the draws. So if whatever's in between us and the draws, we're trying to keep that hill as low as possible so we can just step over it. So if it's, oh man, if she'll come by, let me just throw this out here and see if she's up to coming by the house and watching Netflix, because really? That's what guys, let me just see if she.
I thought, okay, I hear that, but I thought you said that you guys wanted to have something, longevity after 30. Like I can expect that from someone before 30, but after 30, are you really still GTD? Like, or are you?
That's no. What I mean is that's a move. Going back to that question you asked me, how do you know that dude that is just trying to get the draws only? He ain't really trying to build with you. That's a date that he would suggest. Men who are trying to build typically would take you out to try and impress you. Now there are some guys who try to get you to quote unquote run the check up so that they can go and cash out. So they hit you back a couple days.
God, look at all these terms that you guys have.
I'm just that.
Run the check up so they can cash out.
Yes. So that they can say that you owe them. And then at that point, they start talking about, well, I ain't going to keep whining and dining you and taking you out to the movies and doing blah, 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 blah. And you're not, you ain't really down to do nothing. And then that's when it's time to, that ain't going to be it.
See, you should know that before. That's how I feel. I feel like you should just know that before if a guy's like that, because I don't know.
Let me say this to you. Oh, go ahead, Ashley.
I think we may have to do a part 2 because I think the time is getting ready to run out. But go ahead. What was your point? Go ahead. We're going to see how long we can go before Zoom tells us to get the hell on.
Okay, just briefly, ladies. Don't blame yourselves because men, we are masters at deception. That's the whole. That is so
scary. I feel so bad now. This is like I have no hope. You just said we're like.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad because the whole game of dating is built on a lack of transparency. Everybody's trying to keep from showing their cards and telling all their story too soon. So you're not going to have all the information about a guy on the first date or on the first phone call or the first time you meet him. It's going to come back to you actually having to take the time to get to know the guy. But the main thing is he intentional about trying to expose who he is gradually to you through dating, or is he just simply taking you out on dates for a means to an end of trying to get the draws? So if he ain't just taking you out for the sake of trying to, like I said, run the score up so he can cash out, then if he's telling you things about himself along the way, if he's sharing his vision for life with you along the way, if he's talking about what he's trying to build and why he's trying to build, then those are signs that he might be a solid dude and continue to give him some of your time. So,
well, I think this was an eye-opening episode of the podcast. I feel, even more defeated and deflated and today than I did yesterday. So dating is just you're throwing something against the wall and hoping that it sticks, basically, right? That's what you said.
It's trial and error. It is trial and error. So,
go ahead and tell people who you are since you want to go ahead and get your plugs in. I don't give out plugs on this show. Go ahead.
First thing is I'm single. I'm very single. I'm single. So, I love getting to know women in a genuine way. But seriously, my podcast is Culture and Conversations. And I am, enjoying having these conversations with people. We talk every day. In some way and build up content that helps people discover that everyday people are amazing people. So I like to think I'm Oprah, but as a guy. So if you're looking for inspirational content, if you're looking for hilarious content featuring ISIS, if you're looking for great discussion on Facebook, you can go and be a part of #group chat. That's a Facebook community I'm building over at Culture and Conversations on Facebook. So it's a really cool platform. Come and be a part of what we're doing. And let me make you part of the conversation.
Are you done?
I am.
Culture and Conversations is a dope show, y'all. I've been on there a lot. And it's a great program. I fully endorse and support this message.
You're one of my favorite guests of all time.
I should be. I mean,
yeah.
Come on, look. So,
I think I will.
So guys, okay, you guys know what to do. Make sure that you're subscribing, you're rating, you're reviewing, you're sharing the show. We are available on pretty much every podcast platform out there and on YouTube. So make sure that you're telling people about the Dope Black Chick podcast and that there's a dope black chick talking dope black shit. And also make sure that you're following us on Instagram at the Dope Black Chick. Right? It's the Dope Black Chick. Yeah. On Instagram. All right, guys. Until next time. Peace and blessings.
Peace.